One of the quotes that I love to recite and to share is that sometimes you have to be careful not to take your old friends to your new playground. I'll say it again. Sometimes you have to be careful not to take your old friends to your new playground. Day 5 of Vlogmas. Welcome to another video. I can't believe it is day 5 already. I'm so excited to be with you today. But today, as you saw, I got some Amazon stuff in today because I'm working on my lighting and wanted to make sure that I had plenty of lighting as I move forward recording these vlogs. And so what you saw in the beginning of the video was me opening up my boxes of the newer lighting system. And so I'm gonna add that to my overall production. And we'll talk a little bit more about production in a later video. But welcome to day 5 of Vlogmas. If you're joining for the first time, I'm Markeith Brayton, personal brand strategist, speaker, and digital marketer. And I decided to do Vlogmas every single day during the month of December. And it's been rough. It has been rough, but we are coming each and every day. I'm trying to stay ahead of the game and making sure that I'm bringing you value. And if you haven't seen the other videos, go all the way back to day 1 and make sure that you watch each one as we progressively keep going doing Vlogmas 2025. So today, I'm not gonna be before you long, but today I wanna share with you 5 things I wish I knew when I first started as a content creator and entrepreneur, because I think it's important for you to kind of get some of these lessons if you're just getting started, or maybe you are coming back and restarting like me, getting into content creation as a 40 plus Gen Xer. So we're gonna talk about 5 things I wish I knew when I first got started getting into content creation and YouTube as a 40 plus creator. All right, number 1, the first thing I wish I knew when I first got started was that time is not on my side. You know, a lot of times we get into this rhythm of saying one day. And the fact of the matter is that one day actually is today. The more we keep putting things off, the less likely we're actually going to do it. And so I want you to get into the habit of not saying one day, but start doing instead of putting it off. I think I've talked about this in previous videos this week, and that is seize the moment, carpe diem. You only have today. The more you keep putting things off, the less likely you're going to do it. It's called the law of diminishing intent, I believe. And what the law of diminishing intent says is that the more I keep putting it off, the less likely I'm actually going to get that thing done, or the less likely I'm actually going to accomplish it. You don't have the time to keep putting it off, especially we're 40 plus. And so we're at least almost halfway, no, we're more than halfway done with our lives. And so we want to stop delaying our purpose, and we want to start getting into our purpose, doing the thing that we're passionate about and really feel like we are purposed to do. And so that's the first thing I wish I knew. And that is to stop procrastinating, stop putting things off, and actually going for it, because time is not on our side. The second thing I'd share with you that I wish I knew before I got started was that entrepreneurship really is taking a risk. You are a risk taker when you get into entrepreneurship and start your own business. And you have to understand that safety is really not your friend. That when you get into entrepreneurship, when you get into content creation, you are taking a risk because you don't know if the business is going to be successful. You don't know if someone's going to listen. You don't know if people are going to watch. You don't know if people are going to like it. But the risk in entrepreneurship means that you're believing by faith that you're doing the right thing and that there will be support as you go. I think there's a saying is that at some point in time, you just have to jump and pray that your parachute opens up on your way down, or jump and grow your wings on the way down. And so one of the things that I had to learn was to take the risk. Yes, it was a risk for me to take after being laid off, to not going back to the traditional 9-to-5, but to bet on myself. I want you to say that to yourself. Bet on yourself. And betting on yourself means that you're willing to take the risk on yourself. You're willing to invest in yourself and doing all that you possibly know to do to make things a success. And so this is why you have to understand that going after your purpose, going after your passion can be risky, but at the same time, it is rewarding. And so understand and know that taking the risk is part of entrepreneurship. Taking the risk is part of the journey, and you have to embrace it and don't shun it and don't push it away, but embrace it and understand that it is a part of the journey. The third thing I'll share with you that I wish I knew before I got started was to understand that confidence comes from repetition. That the more you do a thing, the better you get, the more confident you become. Hey, I'm doing Vlogmas every day of the week. What is helping me to become more confident is me doing this every single day. I almost did not get this video done today because I'm recording this a little bit later in the evening and I didn't think I was going to get it done, but because I've been doing it every day, I promised myself I was going to keep my word, and it's become actually a little bit more easier. I thought it was going to be really challenging to get these videos done every day, but I came up with my own strategy of how I was going to do it. And one of those strategies was me not necessarily doing a vlog style Vlogmas each day, but just coming in to share with my peers, my Gen Xers, my 40 plus individuals, and letting them know that they too can get into content creation and it's not as hard as you think. Repetition helps to create the confidence. The more you do the video, the more you get better at doing them. The more you speak, the better you become at speaking. The more you create the content and create the shorts and do your YouTube, the better you become. So understand, confidence comes from the repetition, not necessarily just innate within you, but the more you do it, the more confident you will become. The fourth thing I would share with you that I wish I knew, and this one is important, especially if you are someone who really cares about relationships, and it is that relationships shift. When you are going for your goals, when you're going for your purpose, when you're going for your dreams, sometimes relationships will shift because everybody is not going to understand why you're not as available, why you don't necessarily have the time to do the things that you previously did, or sometimes you just outgrow the spaces, especially if you are the only entrepreneur within your friend group. You know, and I dealt with that a lot. coming out of the 9 to 5. I had, the habit of meeting up for lunch with friends of mine during work hours or doing things with my colleagues. But once I became an entrepreneur and started working from home, a lot of those relationships really began to shift. And even though I enjoy those relationships, there were different things that were happening in my life that didn't align with that lifestyle that I had previously created. I was traveling a lot, going to conferences, and really infusing myself into understanding how to be a great content creator, how to run an online-based business, how to run a coaching business, how to build a speaking empire. It was not necessarily aligned to what I formerly used to do. And so you have to know that your relationships will shift. You also have to know that everybody is not going to support what it is that you're doing. And you can't take it personally because they may not just understand why you're doing what you're doing, or because they've never shifted themselves into pursuing what they believe their purpose is. They just probably don't understand. And so know that your relationships do matter, but they might just shift. And you may not necessarily get the support that you feel like you deserve in pursuing your goal. But don't take it personal. Just understand that you might have to create new relationships that help support where it is that you're going. One of the quotes that I love to recite and to share is that sometimes you have to be careful not to take your old friends to your new playground. I'll say it again. Sometimes you have to be careful not to take your old friends to your new playground. Entrepreneurship is a new playground, and there are certain people that you need to surround yourself around in order to be successful as an entrepreneur. And the fifth thing that I'd share with you today that I wish I knew before I started was that you don't have to be an expert to start. This was something that I really had to fully understand because I always was that person who felt like I had to get that next certification, I had to get that next degree, or I had to get that next license, or whatever it was that I felt like I needed. But the fact of the matter was that I didn't need any of that. I just needed to start. And one of the things I like to share with those individuals who I have coached over the years was that really you just need to be one, maybe 2 steps ahead of the individuals that you're helping. And that is enough. And what makes you an expert really is your experience. It's the things that you've overcome. It's the things that you've gone through, that you've learned how to master. And that's what makes you an expert. That's what makes you or helps you to help other people. And so you don't have to be an expert to start. You don't have to be the guru to start. You don't have to be the go-to person right now to start. You just need to start. And understanding that and embracing that and embodying that will help you to develop the repetition so that you can develop the confidence. If I had waited to be all those things to start, I wouldn't be talking to you right now on this YouTube channel doing Vlogmas because I would have still been waiting today. So what I would tell myself then, what I know now is you're not too late. You're full of value, and you have everything you need to help those people that you want to help. As I stated, today was not going to be a long video, but if you like today's video, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm giving you everything I got to keep going during this Vlogmas. I'm committed, and I want you to go along the journey with me. So if you make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when I'm uploading a brand new video. It's December. It's the end of 2025. We're doing Vlogmas. I'm committed. Come on the journey with me. I'm excited about it, and I look forward to sharing with you again tomorrow with a new topic.